What's up, everyone? Welcome to Recalibrate the podcast, where we believe that telling stories matters, and listening to stories is one of the easiest and most fun ways to change the way you do or think about something. So today I'm really excited to have my brother from another mother, my friend, my inspiration, the Kaleidoscope Kid, Josh, here on the podcast. This is a full circle moment because if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, when it was previously Lighten Up, Josh was the first interview that I did, and his song is the song of my podcast. He's helped me so much. He made the first cover art for my podcast, so he's really been a huge part of this podcast. So I'm excited to circle back, a full circle moment to have Josh on the podcast. If you don't know who Josh is, he's the Kaleidoscope Kid. Well, I guess now he's the head of the Kaleidoscope Kid, which has morphed into a band. And he's got a ton of music out. He's really talented. He's a sound engineer, a philosopher, all the things. He's really awesome and inspiring in so many ways. So I'm really grateful for him taking the time to come have this conversation with me. And before we get into it, we'll do what we always do. We'll take 3 deep breaths together to ground into the moment, help me, myself with my nerves. And I'll say a little prayer, light a candle, and then we can get into this conversation. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, if you have the ability to slow down for just a moment, maybe shut your eyes and get present with your body, we can do that together. And like I said, we'll just take 3 deep breaths in through our nose and out through our mouth, perhaps even with a sound. So, all right, let go of whatever air you've been holding on to, and let's take a breath in. And let it out. Again, breathe in. And out. Last one, deepest breath all day. And let it out. I'm just going to light this candle and call upon the fire and our ancestors, the dead, all the people who walked before us, the plants, the animals, the earth, the wise ones, the sun, the elements, all of the beings that are benevolent in our path to just be here with us for this interview and allow us to communicate to the inner artist within all of us. I pray that everyone who listens to this podcast leaves with a little bit of inspiration or flow or insight as to how they can foster their relationship with their own artist within. I do believe everyone has an artist within them, and so I just pray that we all can find that person within us and continue to build and grow that relationship with our artists so that we can create more beauty in the world and live a more peaceful and harmonious life. Aho.
Uh-huh.
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Good. Just hanging out at the studio right now. So I'm in my happy place. Everybody's coming in today, so it should be a fun day.
Yeah, the studio is your happy place and where you spend like most of your time.
Yeah.
It is a magical place though.
Yes. Yeah. It just brings in a lot of beautiful people. So
yeah, there's been many. Before I moved to Colorado, we would kick it in the studio a lot and people would come in and out and we'd listen to music, I never created music, but I would listen to other people create music and just leave with like this feeling of vibration, like lit up. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And then oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say that's where we met. It was here at the studio, so it's cool. It's been like 5 years now that I've been here, and it's transformed and changed so much over the past couple of years.
Yeah, I think we met at the end of 2019.
Yeah.
So it's been like almost. This will be our 7th year of friendship. Yeah. That's crazy.
Damn. That's crazy.
I know, right? And you sent me when I left the studio. You sent me Crash Landing. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And then that came out, and then it was a full circle moment for me when I got to bring my stepdaughter to the studio to record, and you were her engineer, and dude,
That song is incredible. Turned out so good. Literally everybody I showed it to was like, I'm gonna cry.
I
It
know.
was so cool.
Even like Jake puts it on at the jujitsu gym, and these like grown men are like crying. They're like, "Oh my God, this is so good.
It's insane.
It's
Yeah,
so good."
I'm excited for another session.
I know we gotta get her back in there.
Yeah.
But so tell me about like we've done a podcast before and we've talked a little bit about your story and how you got into art and like your healing through reishi and camu camu and all those things. So if you're interested in hearing that aspect of Josh's story, you should definitely go listen to like my second podcast episode I ever released. um but I want to talk, I mean, things have obvious, that's, almost, I think that was 2020 or 2021. It's been almost 5 years since we recorded that. And so you've matured and your music and your art has matured. And I'm wondering, like, what is your creative process like, and how has that shifted or changed, or what does that look like for you?
Yeah, it is one of those things where it's always changing. You know what I mean? It's like initially the way I describe it to people is like the creative process. It's like the creative process, it started from this place of like just being naive and almost like childlike wonder. You know what I mean? It was just really cool. And then it started to, when I would play songs for people, my friends, I would get, a positive response from them. And what would happen is, at first it was meeting some need. It was giving me some sort of validation externally.
Mm.
And so that kind of was like a lot of the drive. A lot of the times it was like over the years, it was like my muse was my girlfriend at the time. Like until like they heard the song and were like, oh, this is good. Like if they were just like, oh, okay, I was like, it's not done. You know what I mean, kind of thing. And so a lot of it was the creative process was rooted in like this sense of validation and it was more or less unconscious,
Hmm.
essentially. And then at, and after a while, I was always just in the studio, and so like when I started playing shows more and playing with the band, things changed so much because when you're in your bedroom making music just for yourself, it's one thing, and then after you have that experience where you're like, now you're a little bit more aware of like, oh, how is this song going to be performed live with these guys, and what can we do? So the creative process in that sense, it's changed like the carrot on the end of the stick. It's been 2 years now of playing with the band. And so a lot of the music that I've been making now, even though I don't record it with them, it's with them in mind. And
Mm.
so usually it's me starting off with a guitar, finding some drums that I like, and adding some. It's really, and it's interesting too because the subject matter and the topics they just come from everyday conversations, like uh, random things I've overheard or movies or things I'm watching. I have in my notes a folder of just completely unorganized, but of just like it's like planting seeds, you know what I mean? So it's like I put this in there, like, oh, that's a good word, or that's a good idea for a song, or a good concept. And then when I sit down and I'm writing, I like kind of scroll through that at first and see if anything matches the tone of the song. Like if it's something more melancholy or something happier, like you see the lyrics and you're like, oh, that kind of is what this feels like to me. And the writing, one of my favorite things I heard was like for breath work, somebody was like, it's not there's no goal, it's just a process.
Hmm.
And I feel like I applied that to music a lot lately over the past 2 years, where I can show up every day without expecting an outcome and just show up to do it, because it's like going to the gym or anything. You do it every day, you're going to get better at it.
Hmm.
And so like I want to get better at it. And so I show up, and if I have a goal in mind and I'm struggling and I'm overthinking it, it's like, just see what happens. You know what I mean? Just see what happens. And so I'm always jumping all over the place though, trying new things as well. And I think because I'm in the studio a lot with other artists and I see how they write, I look at how I write because it's a lot slower of a process. Like I'm not
Mm,
in the studio for like a 4 hour session booking it. It's like I have the song on loop for like 3 days
mm,
and I'm falling asleep with it on, waking up with it on, and like the thing that I've really been trying this last year is almost to not write the song and to just have it on and let these, I'll be doing something, I'll be drawing or writing, and then all of a sudden I'm like here, thinking of a conversation I had 2, 3 years ago. And
mm,
all of a sudden I have this kind of reflection on it. I'm like, oh, that's a good, like the other day, it was like, uh, as I've gotten older and, thinking about getting into a relationship again, with a partner, it's like I'm actually scared of love. And so like the line was like, nobody told me one day when I grow up I'd be scared of love. Like, you
mm,
know what I mean? And have that fear of that. And so little things like that, it's like that right there is just a line that I wrote, and maybe it'll become something one day. It's just another seed that's planted, but it's just those little subtle things that I'm trying to, because it's like, I don't know, you could make a song all day, but it's like, what do you want to say?
mm.
And that's the thing where I'm at. I feel like I've made all the songs, and now I'm like, all right, what do I want to say, and what am I trying to say right now? What do I want to express?
I like that. So when you're writing a song, like let's just pick a song for like an example in your head. If do you, or maybe it changes per each song. Like do you write the music first and then kind of morph the lyrics, or is it kind of just simultaneous? Like you said, you have some lyrics that float around and then you write a melody and then you kind of pick and pull from.
Yeah, that's usually what it is a lot of the time. Like like I'll have a phrase, I'll have like a short couple, like a sentence, an idea, for a song, just like a concept of it. Like, and it could be the dumbest thing. Like my mom was, I was at the house last year at some point, and she was like, my package is lost in transit, and her Amazon package. And I was like, lost in transit is a great like concept. Like, and so I wrote it down, and then I ended up writing a song called Lost in Transit. And, the whole thing is about being like we can't stop moving, like we're in transit constantly, and like as people, you can't, and even when you go to sleep, other than that, you're going.
Yeah.
So feeling like a package lost in transit kind of thing, and the song turned into this really cool concept. I love that song. So yeah, it's like I said, and then the melody, like I wrote a melody, and then I was like, oh, that fits perfect, kind of
Hmm.
thing. So sometimes, like right now, I feel like I'm at the weird point because I've just made so much music, and the way that I've heard it. Uh, John Frusciante, he's the guitar player from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and he was in one of the interviews. He's like, like you think the most pleasurable things, the things you love the most, you just want to do forever. And he's like, you think you just want to make love with this beautiful woman forever. But after a couple hours, you're like, all right, like I want to go do something else or do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like I'm hungry or like this kind of thing. And it's like, so like I feel like I've kind of squeezed all the juice out of the orange this year. And it's been nice though, because I've been really just practicing on being a good musician as opposed to like making a lot of songs right now, like
Mm,
just playing guitar, being with the guys, and then uh the music is like one thing, and then like when I'm making music videos, which is another part of the creative
mm,
process, it's like that's a lot more collaborative. Like I come up with a lot of the premises and the ideas, but then you're doing it like I'm in the studio by myself a lot of the time, so
hmm.
like doing that is a whole nother thing. Painting, drawing, all these things, they have their own, they like fill their own little space
Hmm.
in the whole process. But
Yeah. Well, so it sounds to me like you're creative process of songwriting or whatever like ebbs and flows, but you're creative every day
Yeah, yeah.
in just a different medium sometimes.
Yeah, and it's super hard to let go of that because so much of my identity is wrapped up in a musician, and it's, like what my livelihood is kind of bet on. So I put a lot of pressure on it, sometimes too much, but
To what, keep pumping out songs and
yeah, to just show up every day. Like I think of like the Kobe Bryant thing where it's like he was at the gym, 3 hours before everybody else got there doing stuff. And that's how I feel. I'm like by the time everybody gets here at noon, it's like I've been doing stuff all morning. They
mhm,
leave and then I'm doing stuff and then people come in at night, I'm working with them, and then I wake up in the morning, do it again. And it's like if I just put in the hours, I know that there's nothing else that will result the only thing that's going to happen is you're going to get better. You
yeah,
know what I mean? And it's shown, like, and it's cool because I'm not, classically trained, musically trained in any sense. So feeling like I understand the guitar more and more every day, and like little puzzle pieces fit together, and it's just a never ending thing. So it's really fun too.
keep going.
You could
Yeah,
just do, you can just do whatever. So I think that's the beautiful thing about it, is with creativity and with music, with art, with everything, that there's literally an infinite amount of possibilities for you to
mhm,
explore. So if you think you're gonna know it all, you're never gonna know it all.
yeah. Even your voice, like, I feel like you've learned ways to work with your voice. Like, I feel like your voice has shifted over the past, let's say, I don't know, however many years since I've known you, like
Oh
it's
yeah.
you play with it in ways that you haven't before, and that's just because you what are singing every day. Like, do you sing every day?
I mean, I do more or less, I think, sing every day, but it's just a matter of um, like developing those muscles. Like I didn't have the muscles in my voice, in my vocal cords, in my throat, in my diaphragm at that
Hmm.
point in time, and it's a conscious thing. So like being more conscious now, being around people like Ethan, my drummer, he um, is such a music nerd. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like and so he's been doing it his entire life. And so not only does he know vocal warm-ups, he knows like warm-ups that would be for like tuba players and people playing saxophone that goes with breath work. And so when we started doing that together, when we were on tour, we'd do that before the shows, me, Nubs, and him, and it was a game changer. Like
Mm,
I didn't throw out my voice one time, and I
nice.
was fully able to, make it through all 10 of those shows, which is something that I felt like before was a little bit more difficult. And realizing that, oh, I just need to warm up the muscles. I need to get them going and do this. It's crazy. So,
Yeah. Speaking of the band, I'm wondering if you could tell us about like how the vision of having a band came about, and then how you met these guys, how you knew they were a good fit for you. Like, how did the Kaleidoscope band come to be?
yeah. No, we we were, when I say we, it was like me and Matt at the time when we were signed with the label. And the label was happening, agent was happening, management, all these things were going on, and it was kind of like them. I always wanted a band, but I never really cared, and and I think it was because I just thought it. I think honestly, I just assumed that it'd be too much work.
Mm,
You know what I mean? And we were ending the deal with, we were on our last album and we were doing an album release show. We were ending the deal with Suburban Noise. And so I wanted to do, and it was being promoted by the radio station, by 93.3 out here. And so I wanted to have a really cool show. I wanted to have some bands on, and I was like, let's get together with a band. So I called my buddy Corey Rios from the Hourglass Cats, and I was like, hey, like, everybody out there, would you be down to help me put on a show for this? You know what I mean? And it was kind of just like, all right, yeah, let's like do this thing. And then we did Reggae Rise Up right after that in Vegas, and it was like the four of us again, and it was so cool. And I started to like we'd be at rehearsals and just having so much fun. And I was like, damn, like what it reminded me of was skateboarding. Like when I would go to the skate park, like I could just have fun with my friends. Like I wasn't trying to be a pro skater, but like we were all good and and
Mhm.
so like it was really fun. We'd push each other. There's like this sense of like excitement where you're just hanging out with the guys, bonding. And so I really started to enjoy that, and the songs sounded so cool live. And it was like after that second time, it was like this is what it needs to be every time. Like I can't go back to doing it any other way. And it was since then we, Corey told me when I first hit him up that he's like, you're gonna need a first string and a second string and even a third string of people because you're working with other musicians who are working with other bands or working with other tours, other shows, other gigs. So this drummer might not be available for 2 weeks, but you got this guy and you get this, and so that's kind of what happened. Is it's Christian became he's been the bassist the entire time. And then for the drums, we had Ethan drumming, and then we did a tour, and he couldn't go on it. And we had been playing with our buddy Danny T, and
Mm.
he was playing in his band with uh, Gerhardt with G. And it was the craziest thing because like Ethan was like, "Yo, we played a show with them," and then Ethan left his kick pedal there. And so G, being the other drummer, took it and was like, "Yo, somebody left it. I think it's theirs. I'll hold on to it until we figure it out the next day." And so he texted me like saying, "I think Ethan left his pedal," and I was like, I just had this conversation with Ethan that he couldn't do those dates, and I was like, "Wait, you're a drummer, right, G?" And he was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "You want to go on tour with Badfish and Greaves?" And uh, he Danny plays in Badfish. So it
Mhm.
was just like the craziest thing. The first tour I'm doing with the band like that, it's with Badfish, Greaves, Danny is there, Christian and G and Matt's with us. And so everybody knew everybody. So it was like just traveling in a big family. And
Mhm.
that is where uh, that's where my head's at now. I think more than anything is just being on the road because like I love being in the studio. I feel very comfortable being in the studio, but the being on the road. That's why I just live out of a suitcase. It's if like if somebody hit me up right now to go on tour, I'm like, cool. I'll meet you at the door. Like I'm packed and ready to go.
Yeah, I'm ready.
And, and so it's that those little things I think really just solidified the band being so. And the other thing too is like there's those days where I've thought about it before where it's like we're 2.5 almost I don't even know 2.5 years into this with them, and people it's like people will have bands and they'll go in and out of them and have them break up and this and dumb shit, and it's like for me to have found these guys and to be this far into it and to just be really bonding with them like brothers. Like they've been there for me like during times where I'm just like I can't even talk because I'm just gonna cry. Like you know what I
Mhm.
mean? I'm like fuck, dude. Like this sucks, and they're like we're, and so I think that was something I didn't expect from it was that I would find like a family from it. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? And so it's been really cool, and it's forced me to like show up and be vulnerable in ways because at times I feel like I'm steering the ship. It's like with them, it's like I want to be a good example as and be show them that I'm working just like everybody else. It's with the team that I have now. It's like if people don't see you working 150%, they're not even going to work half as hard. So
Mhm.
it's like I try to always just take the initiative and show them by example rather than tell them. Like if I want, it's like if you want. If I want more shows booked, it's like, well, you better be doing stuff. You know what I mean? Like, just don't expect it to happen.
Yeah.
kind of thing. So having all that behind me now on those days where I get up and I don't feel like doing it. I don't have kids, obviously, or a family like that, where it's like they're dependent on me, but it makes me work harder. It makes me feel like, okay, like I have something to show up for, and it's not just about me. And
Yeah.
so I can get up and do it. So that's something I didn't expect, and that's been a really beautiful part of having the band, and I fucking love those guys.
Yeah, and like it motivates you because they believe in you and you
Yeah.
want to do a good job for them.
Yep.
And then you all succeed, you know.
Yeah,
But you
exactly.
are kind of like the spearheader.
Yeah.
And even when I was just thinking about how when we were like hanging out when you came to Colorado at the first part of your tour and they were like, "Okay, dad," like
Uh
you're,
huh.
like you're like trying to get them to go home and they're like talking to everyone and you're like, "Guys, get in the van." And they're
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
"Dad." Like
See, yep, exactly, 100%. So it's really cool though, and like it's weird because it shows me that there is that part of me that can be that way. You know what I mean? Like, and it allows me to work on those parts of myself that are more assertive or more oriented, like goal oriented, and trying to get things done. So it's really I appreciate them for like I've there's been times where like we get done with the ride, a long drive, and I'm like, thank you guys for putting up with me because I'll be like I know that like I sound like an asshole right now, but this is I'm trying to help us all, and then when we get there, they're usually like, dude, you're good. We're happy that you did it. Like you know what I mean?
I mean, that's any family, and
Exactly.
that's usually the dad's role
Yeah.
in the family too, is to be
Yeah.
like, "Shut the fuck up."
I'm like, I have to be the bad guy right now and be like,
Yeah,
no, we can't do that.
yeah,
Like,
totally.
so
Yeah, there's got
yeah,
to be one, but I mean, you guys all kind of ebb and flow and like take care of each other. And it
yes,
really is like a family where you learn like forgiveness and give and take and like how to work through conflict. Like,
yes,
if
yeah,
you spend that much time with anyone, especially on tour,
exactly.
day in and day out, performing, high stress,
Yep,
all the, alcohol, whatever's all involved, like
yep,
it's going to lead to needing to repair and work through things.
yep. Things are gonna come up for sure.
Yeah. But luckily, they both are like great guys, like great level headed, smart, emotionally smart,
Yes.
It was awesome. We had so much
Yeah.
fun.
No, they're the best. Like literally, I'm so grateful for them. So we've been this. It's cool because like now we've been shooting a bunch of content together, which is something that is on the list for this year with all these releases because we're kind of getting to the songs that we've been playing live together.
Hmm.
And um like having that dynamic of the band, it's like it's so much more interesting than just me up there. Like you have all these people now, the way that you can do, like we were at the studio and I've shot every angle possible at the studio, but when I was with them it was a whole new set because it's like, oh, how do we work this into it and do
Hmm.
that. And so it's been really fun doing that with them as well lately too, rather because we don't have any shows really lined up right now, so but we still want to get together and jam and hang out every week.
Yeah.
So we're just looking for an excuse kind of thing.
Yeah.
So getting together every week and shooting content with them and really uh like like I said before, it was kind of just me. Like I want it to be like Red Hot Chili Peppers type where it's like Flea, you got Anthony,
Hmm.
you got everybody in there, John. It's so yeah.
So do you need to be the Kaleidoscope Kids?
We joke about that. We joke about that. Yeah, exactly. No, it has come up.
Even the way that because you always had an aversion to performing Hold Up. You were like, I don't even have the stems or whatever
Yeah,
the word is. Like, I'm not fucking doing that. And then it's like you got the band, and now you're like, oh, okay, this is fun.
yeah,
I can like
yeah,
make this fun. Like,
exactly. Yeah. No, it's the coolest thing ever. Like they really help transform those songs and yeah, like they make me fall in love with them again. And it's cool.
yeah. Yeah, they bring like a liveliness and it just makes everything more fun. I mean, you get to do it with your friends too. Like,
Exactly. Yeah. No,
yeah.
it's crazy.
So they probably, because how long have you been making music now?
It's been
Like professionally?
professionally, it's been 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, altogether, it's been like 11 or 12.
Okay.
So,
And
yeah.
so I bet they probably bring like some inspiration and like motivation to keep going because I mean, at least for me personally, like I've been doing this 5 years, not as well as I could have for 5 years. Like I definitely fell off the bandwagon for a while there. But when you're like pushing and doing it by yourself, it's like I'd imagine hard to keep going sometimes. Like, do
Yeah.
you ever have moments of self doubt or like, or have you in the past had moments of self doubt and wondering, like, why the fuck am I doing this? Should I just go get a job?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I feel like I'm too stubborn or something. At this point, I'm so deep into it, and my foot is in the door. It feels like I'm surrounded by a team of people that are all exceptional at what they do.
Hmm.
Um, like I said, and so it's like, well, if uh, first off, I know I'm not gonna be able to do this forever. So like, if you're gonna do it now and do it 100%. So it's
Hmm.
like I've committed myself over the past like really the past two and a half years. It's become that, but I feel like every day I won't I don't think I'd quit ever making music. You know what I mean? But I think that there's times where I've thought about what if this isn't my main source of income?
Hmm.
Because and when it is, it sort of puts a certain weight on it when you're doing it that changes it.
Hmm.
And like just having that since that like this is what I used to go to escape everything, escape. Now it's like this is just I can't like now it's like I go on a hike or I go on a walk,
Yeah.
something like that. And it's like that's but yeah, there's a lot of self-doubt still. I mean, it's weird because when I'm in the studio with artists, it's the funniest thing because I will watch them write, be writing a melody, writing some stuff, and they're like, "Is that you think that sounds good?" I'm like, "Yes." Don't overthink it. Like I'm like the fact that you just asked me is crazy because it sounds so good. Like just commit to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so when I'm in the studio with people, a lot of the time when they're writing, like I will offer advice and like, oh, maybe you should go here, add this layer here, do some highs over here, do this. But so much of it is just me being like, uh, yes. Like my buddy Mario asked me, or we were talking one day, and he told he got brought up somehow, like what was the best advice he had ever gotten from his mentor, from his music teacher, and he said, I asked him like, what's the best advice you've ever like to teach these kids. And he's like, you don't teach these kids, you just give them permission.
Mm.
And so it's like people just need permission. And like for some reason, like having that not just being in your own head and having that second person being like, yeah, then you're like, okay. And so I feel like 90% of the time that's all it really is me
Mm.
just being like, yes, you can do it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, then who cares? Try something else, but just try it. But yeah, so I try to apply that to myself because it's so much easier when you're on the outside of, you see
Hmm.
like somebody going through something, you're like, just do this,
Yeah.
and so it's like when I'm in the studio, I'm like, dude, just stop overthinking it. But I really I want to have fun with it and enjoy it, but I do want to say things and I want to like use it as a way of self-reflection. So that takes time where it's like, you have to sit with yourself and think about things and it's not just going to happen right away. It kind of happens how it happens.
Hmm. Yeah. So I think a lot of like, because for me personally, like I do this like podcast and share on Instagram and all of that, and it brings me a lot of source of like connection and joy. And it's like hard for me to imagine not doing it. Like I just am like, well, how else would I fill my time or my cup or like do something for just me? And So like that there's that aspect of it where it's like I'm just going to do this because it feels good and I'm doing it. But there's
Hmm.
also this aspect of like pressure to succeed and like have a million followers. And so I have moments where like someone starts an Instagram page 2 months ago and they have 100,000 followers and I know them and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I've
Yeah.
been doing this for forever and I'm not succeeding. Like, have you ever had moments like that where you see someone, that that's succeeded and made it, and then you have like a moment of self doubt and like worry, or like, like not to make you get super vulnerable on the internet, but I
No, no,
just
yeah.
think that it's such a like relatable experience for so many of us, like comparing ourselves to other people.
Yeah. No, I look at it like Carl Jung, he talks about the archetypes, and they all exist within all of us. So basically, like the entire human spectrum of emotion, every possible thing. Like you see people who do the most heinous and terrible things, and you're like, how could they do that? But that's in all of us.
Hmm.
And sometimes you're just never confronted by it, or you just keep it pushed down, or this, that, and the other. So I really was not aware. Like I genuinely don't think I can't consciously recall any sort of envy or jealousy, um, really until after I left from LA and the relationship ended. And I was, you know, watching somebody that I loved go and do amazing, and I loved that. But there was a part of me that it got brought up for the first time ever, and I was like, "Yo, what is this?" But I had been able to in the past sit with like my sadness and observe it, or sit with my anger and observe it. So I was observing it, and I was also like very aware, like okay, like of kind of the Jungian concepts that these things are in you, and like enlightenment or whatever is not just imagining figures of light. It's making the conscious unconscious conscious. And
Right.
so it was like, okay, this is another opportunity right now in my life where this is being brought out for a reason for me to work on. And I think the way I look at it is like, whether it's true or not, it's like, okay, this is being brought up because it's holding me back, and there's
Mm,
something in there that it's hiding and covering up. And so that was interesting because, like I said, it was an emotion that I didn't really feel familiar with. Like I was
mm,
like, "Whoa, this is in me," and it was like a weird thing. 'Cause, like I said, I was watching it happen while it was happening too. So it was kind of just like a surrendering to it and being like, and then it pass, you
mhm,
know. But I think what it did for me is it was there to burn out that false, like it's not, it was an illusion that if I like that would have made me happy, that I
mm,
needed that to make me happy. And so it's like I want that, and it's going to be awesome if I get it one day. But now if I get it, like it doesn't feel dependent on that. I put so much of my value on being that, and so it kind of burnt that out. And I feel like, mm, when you for me, if when I decided to go inward more, it was like revealing and bringing up all this stuff that needed to be purged out of me and shit
mhm,
before I got to where I wanted to go.
right,
Because if I got there at the wrong time, it wouldn't matter. It's
right,
like and so feeling grateful, like we joke with the guys, a lot of my, friends, like if you're this deep in music and you're living how we do, like you're a little crazy. And so, but we talk and we're like, dude, if we would have like gotten the success that we want now, eh, 10 years ago, we would have died or been
yeah,
lost it all, or whatever. But where we are now, like I look forward to the next, like I'm about to be 33, from here to 40. It feels like a really defining moment in my life. So it's like, and I feel like I know now more than ever what my values are, why I value them, as opposed to when I was, got into the label deal before. I was naive and just never, just ignorant to any of the, what kind of goes on over there. And so
mhm,
through experience, I was able to at least, it's like you can't, you have to do the hard stuff to get to there. You don't want to skip it all. It's all
Mhm.
steps on a ladder. So I'm grateful for where I'm at right now. And it, like I said, it kind of that I compare myself at times still. Like you get on social media, you know what I mean? You see these things, but it's really for me. I don't know. It feels like for me, it's like I'm bringing it up again with like touring. I see people traveling, and I'm just like, damn, like how do I do that? You know what I mean? Like why am I not? And it also is disheartening at times because I was doing it,
Mhm.
like frequently. So then when it's not happening, it's like I'll just go into really low lows. I'm
Mhm.
just like, is this ever gonna work? And then I have to remind myself that like it's the like the quote that the person who enjoys walking, will go further than the person who's just walking to get to the destination.
Mhm.
It's like, why are you making music? Why are you doing art? Is it because you want to get somewhere? Or is it because you like doing it? And it's like,
Mhm.
then just like doing it and let the rest of the stuff fall apart. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, that's what I am like trying to that's what I remind myself often too is like it's not really about the success or having a million followers or being well known or whatever like because if you don't enjoy it then what's the point of that? And if you enjoy it then who cares? Like you're
Exactly.
doing it
Exactly.
because you enjoy it.
Exactly.
And it's more likely that that will come as a fruit of you enjoying what you're doing than like stressing about it or being inauthentic or you know, trying to copy what other people are doing or just doing what is cool or,
Yep.
what isn't in alignment with like you and your, creativity or process or
Yeah.
whatever.
I feel like being at the studio, like when I'm working in sessions, when I'm working with other artists, I just want to contribute, you know what I mean, and bring value to in whatever way I can, whether that's just being that second set of ears, whether it's playing guitar, whether it's engineering. But it's such a like it that's another like the reason you I do it is because it's like music has existed far before me and will after me. So I'm just really this small little piece that's contributing in some way that I can, if possible, to this thing that's gonna keep going. And it is, so to be able to just contribute, to have, a kid make a song and just be stoked and to just be lit up, it's like that's cool as playing at Red Rocks. Like it's such a good
Yeah.
feeling to see that and to for people to walk out of here and just that for the next week they're just going to be playing that song that they recorded on
Yeah.
repeat and they're so proud of it and you were able to help them get that. So it's really cool and I'm grateful how often I get asked to help them to collaborate on things too, because that's just a reminder of like why I'm really doing it, you know.
Yeah. Well, and it's also remembering, like, in the process, how, if you become, if you blow up tomorrow and you're hella successful and touring the world and playing Red Rocks, like, you won't be recording Aria in the studio, or other
I still do
people.
it.
Yeah. But I mean, like, as
Yeah,
much, like,
no, I'm
you,
gonna be busy.
you're gonna be busy. So you have to, like, it's also helpful to remember, like, there's parts of my experience and my journey right now that I get to enjoy. Like I think about this a lot with like wanting to become a mom too. Like I'm sometimes so antsy to like get pregnant and have all these things happen and it's like, well, when I can take a step back and realize like, if I had a fucking baby right now with Jake out of town, like I'm not going to be recording a podcast with Josh
Yeah,
because there's going to be a baby here. So like how can I be present and enjoy the journey and the process and the things that are unique to this point in my journey.
yeah. We're gonna miss these years at one point, like you know what I mean. We're gonna look back and be like, "Damn, that was really good, actually."
Yeah.
And it's so yeah. I think about that all the time when I see the squad or the guys in here, and they're like, "Oh, we need to get our numbers up to here. We're at or past this," and it's like I'm like, just keep making music. Just keep having fun. Like, and I'm like, you guys are doing it. You have a studio. You have this. Like, I mean, obviously it could be better, but like, we need to stop and just take a moment to be grateful for what we have and what you guys have accomplished right now, because this is amazing, dude. Like this is
Yeah,
a really cool thing that you have facilitated here, and so yeah, it's good to have people around you, I think, too, that can help you when you get into that comparison trap, like, because they can see
totally.
it. Like Nubs, we were in here, and our buddies, uh, Tommy, he's incredible musician, and got I don't even want to call it country, but he's got that kind of like control and that country voice to him. But uh, Nubs walked past or something, and he was like, damn, like sometimes feel like I can't sing or do this. And I was like, I looked at him right away and I was like, he can't do what you do. And Nubs just laughed. He's like, that's right. And I was like, literally, like, I was like, that's like, I'm sure he sounds the same way when you know what I mean? He's like, damn, that shit's dope. I wish I could do some shit like that.
Yeah,
And that's just how it is. So, like, having people around to remind me and to remind each other is very helpful.
yeah. I appreciate you being willing to go there because I think it is like something we often don't want to talk about because we're, so ashamed of these feelings and don't want to, it's like bad to compare yourself or whatever. But I think it is also just like a universal human experience. Like
Yeah,
we all are going to compare ourselves or doubt ourselves or have low points. And it is important to have people around you that can remind you no one can do you.
exactly. Exactly. That
Yeah.
was the biggest thing when I was in LA. Like, I started being in rooms with people, and I realized that I had just kind of been floating by playing music. Like, I didn't really take it seriously. I was just having fun and living life, and yeah, I made music. But then I got there, and I was like, oh, these people make music, and like they do it like they do it. And it was so good, weird to me. Not weird, but different, that I was like, I was taken back by it, and I've really kind of like, for me, when I'm in a new space and I don't know what's going on, I kind of become more reserved because I'm not in a way that's reclusive. I'm trying to understand the dynamics of how it
Hmm.
works. 'Cause I'm like, I'm not used to this, so let me sit back and be respectful of at this and try to observe. And if I need to ask questions. But if I sit here in 30 minutes an hour, I'm gonna be like, okay, this is kind of how they're doing their thing.
Hmm.
So, but I realized like it's like there's so many times where I just leave a session and be like, well, I just kind of sat there the whole time, like observing and really not feeling confident at all in what I could bring to the table. And then like we said, I was like, these people are all so good, but they're all so good at being themselves. And I was like, oh, that's all I have to do. And so like started to reframe it like that, where it's like I don't need to be the best guitar player. I just need to be the best guitar player I can be. You
Yeah.
know.
And
So
play guitar in the way that you would do it. And
exactly.
like, you don't need to create the best song of
Yeah.
the world,
Exactly.
but the best Kaleidoscope Kid song
Exactly. Yeah.
that's true to you. And
Yep.
yeah, I love what you were saying about like, okay, now because you have made a shit ton of music.
Yeah.
Like, you've made, like, I talk
A
to
lot.
Aria all the time. I'm like, dude, Kaleidoscope Kid's probably written 4 songs today. Like, what are you doing? Just kidding. But, like, you've
Yeah.
done the music. And so now you kind of get to, like, figure out, like, what's your legacy? Like, what do you want to say? What do
Yeah.
you want to leave behind? Not that you're going to die tomorrow, but I think it's, like, an important thought for us all to have. And, like, just being just getting better and better at your craft and more intentional rather than just like, oh yeah, I'm making music.
Exactly, exactly. Like it's like I've said, music is the best teacher I've had in my life. Like it's a mirror. It forces me to look at myself in ways. It takes me around the country. It taken me, all over. Met amazing people, and it's very when the highs are high and they're up there and the lows are lows, but you have to most I feel like a lot of people will go their whole life without experiencing some of the things that we put ourselves through as artists, like where you're really confronting who you are as a person. Not,
Hmm.
it's like this isn't about how much money is in your bank or this, that, and the other. It's about who you are as a person.
Yeah, and like a willingness to be seen
Yeah,
in your truth and your expression, like that's a vulnerable thing to do, to
yeah,
create something and then be like, here, world,
exactly,
whether
exactly.
it be like a cake or a song or a book or whatever it is. Like, I
Yeah,
think all of these concepts and thoughts apply to like really any expression that we choose
Exactly.
to partake in. So what if you, like if you knew that Aria or another kid or like another person out there who wants to be an artist of any form was listening, like what advice would you give them?
I would say to it's like it's a devotional path. It's like another thing. It, it's if you want to be a black belt, you have to show up every day and do the stuff, whether you want to do it or not. And you don't you don't do it because somebody tells you to do it. Either you do it because you want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But not losing, not forgetting the reason you started. You know what I mean, and kind of nurturing that to always keep that kind of uh, childlike
Mm,
exploring and that wonder like kind of sense of seeing things, and then to just play with as many people as you can.
mm,
Like that's something I didn't do, and if I could go back, I would be like just be be more open to letting people see the unfinished product, because I
mm,
was totally fine showing it, but I didn't want people to see the process. And
mm,
so it's like let yourself be, because people can really help you. It's like they can see something, like I can see the wall behind you right now, and you can
mm-hmm,
see the wall behind me, but it's like that's to you that's not there. I mean,
mm-hmm.
other than the fact we're looking at it in the
On
thing,
the screen.
but yeah, but it's like so they help you see things that aren't there. So I think that's a big
Yeah,
thing. Collaborate, explore. You're gonna learn so many different things, and just remember why you started doing it and have fun with it.
yeah. I do think something I've learned after doing this challenge, like I did a Instagram posting challenge and it was like post every day for 28 days and I did that and I didn't want to every day and I did that and now I'm in a place where like I'm almost at 100 days where I've posted every day. By this time this comes out, I will have posted every day for 100 days and like it's easy now
Yes.
and it's fun. And
Yeah.
I love being like, I don't even fucking plan it. Like, I'm just
Yes.
like, what am I gonna post today? Like, what's gonna come through that I
Yeah.
want to communicate? So, I keep talking about Arya because she's my stepdaughter and she's really creative and, you guys have worked together. So, but I tell her all the time, I'm like, just write a song even if it's shitty. Like,
Yep.
even if you have to write a song about the cat or like your homework
Yes.
or whatever, like just write shitty songs because I think she has this block and I've felt this myself before where she wrote a really good song and I'll link it in the show notes so everyone can hear it, but it's a really good song and now she's like, "Oh fuck.
I gotta get
Like
better.
how am I going to beat that fucking song?" And so I'm like, you beat that song by getting in the habit of writing a song every day, even if it fucking sucks. And
Yes.
like just putting yourself, I'm like, you're going to have to write shitty songs. Like
Yeah.
that's
No,
part of the process.
Yeah, Ed Sheeran has this interview clip that I absolutely love where he's like, it's like turning on an old faucet. He's like, you're gonna write a bunch of bad songs, but eventually, like the gunk and everything's gonna come out, and then it'll just start flowing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it'll just start flowing. And so it's a matter of like the way I look at it is when I go on the treadmill and I'm gonna go run for 30, 40 minutes. The first 10 minutes always suck.
Yeah.
And then I feel fine. So even this morning, I picked up the guitar and I was like, all right, like I need to practice some of these songs. And I started playing and my hands were stiff. I just woke up. I'm tired. And I'm like, God, dude, this sucks. I should just throw this thing away. You know what I mean? But I'm like, no, give yourself that 10-minute, warm up. Like I was with an artist the other day, and they're in there and they're singing this song. They're like, I don't normally sing like this, and but like I have this idea for it, and they sing it, and I'm like, yes, do that, but also give yourself 10, 15 minutes of doing it because your vocal cords need to warm up too.
Yeah.
Like you just got here, like you're not that's not how anybody does it. Like you have to, that's how they do it is you got to warm up and do these things and give yourself that grace period between that cuz it everything I was uh I help Christian, my bassist, they paint houses, and I was helping him. I've been helping him the past year here and there, but every time I'm there, I'm always learning some new sort of skill. And the first 30 minutes of it, I hate it
Yeah.
because I'm not good at it.
Yeah.
And then I get it, and I'm like, oh shit, look how good, look how
Yeah,
straight
you're
this
like, look
line
at me.
is. Like, yeah, you're like, and so being like, having that moment where you're like, and you're like, okay, hold on, this is gonna pass. Like, this is a part of it. The reason you're feeling this is because you're not good at it. It's not
Yeah.
because you're. That's why you feel this way. Like,
Yeah.
it's not because you don't want to be at work. You're like, it's because you don't know if you're doing it right. You don't
Yeah.
know this. Like, nobody's there being like perfect.
Yeah. Or you're just not warmed up. Like I feel like
Yeah,
every episode that I do too, I'm like, fuck, it sucks that the intro has to be the hook because it's always
yeah,
by the end of the podcast that I'm like really feeling myself and I'm comfortable and
yep,
like the conversation flows. And in the beginning, I'm kind of like, like
yeah.
not warmed up, and it's
Exactly.
you get
That's
nervous
everything.
and that's just life. So
That's why I loved when we were on tour with Nubs. And, like, it was such a cool opportunity because I was like, we get to play for 30 minutes with Nubs. And then normally by 10 minutes into a set, you're like, okay, let's go. So
yeah,
by 30 minutes, you're like, dude, we could go all night. So
yeah,
then we get to leave for 10 minutes or so, come back on stage. And that was that. Like, it's like, okay, we're starting off warmed up is way different
oh
than
yeah,
starting off cold. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, even in the green room and stuff, like, I like to like get warmed up physically, even warm. Like I don't want to be cold and stiff and things like that because I'm like I'm about to move around and do this. So
yeah, totally.
yeah,
That was so fun, dude. Nubs, all of you guys on stage is just so cool, and with the band is really an awesome experience. I got to get Nubs on this podcast, dude. He's like, we talk
yes,
about Nubs all the time, like
yes,
in our family, just because he's so like inspiring. I'm like, dude,
yes,
Nubs has no arms or legs, and he drives a car and rolls blunts and
yeah,
fucking does anything. Like, does not let him stop him.
yep,
So you
yeah,
shut up. Like,
exactly. No, that's why I love him. He should be here soon. I can't wait to see him.
dude, yeah, he's great. You all are great. I've really enjoyed like, dude, I love when you guys came and we had that sleepover and hung out in the trailer and then Jake and I got to go be on tour. We were like, yeah, we're on tour for the
So
day.
fun.
That
Yeah,
was so fun.
that was a
So,
really good time. Thanks again for the hot spring recommendation too. That was definitely like the best way to start off that trip.
fuck yeah, dude. You gotta get in some hot water anytime you can.
Yeah.
Okay, last question I wanted to ask I had in my mind is like, do you have what are some of your like favorite books or teachers or YouTube channels or like what keeps you inspired or like learning about creativity and what can you share with the people?
Yeah, I think a big thing that keeps me inspired is definitely first and foremost the people around me because they're they all are great dudes and we're able to kind of like we joke like we're always like uh, we basically have therapy sessions with each other at times. It's very cathartic and therapeutic in that sense. And so those guys, they're all really cool because there's this Mac Miller line where he's like, "All my friends are philosophers," and I was thinking about that. You know what I mean? Like you, like it's like all of us. Like I love having these conversations because when you, especially like when you have thoughts or things that you don't really even say out loud, and then you hear somebody else say it, and you're
Hmm.
like, "Oh damn." And so it, it, it's very when people trust you enough to like be really open with you,
Hmm.
it's something like I don't take for granted. And like people coming in and making music in front of you, it's kind of like being naked in front of you. So like the
Totally.
fact that people are okay, and I want them to feel comfortable around me. But back to the inspiration, it's like uh, being around people like that. And then as far as I don't know, right now I guess the thing that's really difficult to navigate right now is all the AI stuff because I love listening to Terrence McKenna and Alan Watts and Carl Jung and these people, and like there's a couple good channels like the Jungian Society, I believe it is, where it's like you still have these people that are real people that have been doing this for a while, where they're educators and they take time to make these videos and talk amongst each other and help educate people. But uh, so much of the new videos, like you could go on every day and there's a new Alan Watts video or Ram Dass video that's like just
It's
made
not
up.
them. Yeah.
It's not them. And so I'm like, that was the big thing I used to love, and now I don't trust it in the same way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I haven't gone to it as much. I definitely go to more of the podcast stuff. Like
Hmm.
I really love Andrew Huberman. I think he is just brought a lot of value to my life and to other people's lives. And it's always weird, like when he has certain people on, like he had David Cho, who's an artist. He's the one who painted the Facebook headquarters back in the days, like basically one of the wealthiest artists in the world. But he's just
Mm.
this amazing dude, and uh, I love him so much. And so it's like for him to have him on and to see, and for that's somebody who it's very. I'll have to send it to you because he's such a unique person that it's like it's so out of Huberman's wheelhouse that you weren't expecting to have him on, and it's a podcast like you're like whoa, and to see Huberman connect with him in the same way that I connect with him, it's like that's why I connect with your stuff. Like there's underlying values and things
Hmm.
in there that I really appreciate, and then um, who else? I do like. I do enjoy Chris Williamson too. His stuff's been really interesting and a great reminder of certain things. He just did this like end of the year, like everybody does their New Year's resolution kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it was the way he did it. It was, basically like, what would what would you need to have done for it was just very uniquely worded questions,
Hmm.
and it made me think. You know what I mean? It really put it into perspective about, but not in your classical way of like we're gonna make a New Year's resolution. It was just like this is a lot of the time people are trying to do this stuff, and like this is how you might want to approach it.
Hmm.
So I think having the long form content, the podcast, is really. There's something comforting about it too. Sometimes, like I don't really like to have surface level conversations. So it's like when you're listening to it, it's like, okay, cool. Like you can really get to know somebody
Hmm.
and hear them, and you can see their fallibilities, their for who they are as a human, their beauty and all of it, over the period of that time. So I think that's been the biggest thing for me right now. Yeah, the Jungian philosophy stuff has been really helpful the past 2 years as far as navigating some of those things like I brought up, having those feelings of jealousy or having anger and this, and being able to kind of work with it and integrate some of it and understand it,
Hmm.
being able to take, my anger that when I was younger, I would have went and just punched a hole in a wall and broke some shit and screaming. Now I can go make a song, you know what I mean, and put
Yeah.
it into something like that. So, um, yeah, it's the other thing is too. It's not. I mean, Wim Hof and the breathwork stuff
Hmm.
like that. That's been an essential thing that I always talk to people about. I'm like very passionate about how that has impacted me, and so when people talk to me about that stuff, I'm like, let's do it right now, and I'll show you right
We've done
now.
some
Like
breath work together.
exactly, yeah. So
Do you
it's
still do
it's
that like most days?
yeah, yeah. Honestly, like it's crazy because I mean, uh, you know, I deal with anxiety to a degree where it's like I'll wake up and like be viscerally like shaking, but like
Mm.
without, I mean, just thoughts, just uncontrollable, just going, brrr. And so realizing over the past couple of years, it's like, oh, okay, like you can't, it's very hard to stop a thought with a thought. It's so getting into the body and having these somatic experiences, and how quickly it can take me from one state of mind to another in a
Mhm.
matter of 15 minutes of doing that, of doing three of the double inhale exhales, doing three deep breaths with the sighs. Like you're like, oh, okay.
Mhm.
And so, I've talked to people that I wouldn't even expect to, like, yeah, man, I deal with anxiety, and when I'm doing this, and I do box breathing, and I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
okay, like, you know what I mean, like everybody, like, you know what I mean, like this stuff works, like,
Yeah.
um, so that's another thing that I always tell people to, a lot of the symptoms and things that people are dealing with on a daily basis, I think can be resolved if not managed with doing that daily, doing meditation, doing yoga, taking cold exposure, doing saunas, all these things that help
Going
you
on a
get back.
walk.
Yeah, literally, just going on a walk. That's the first. If usually the first thing I do is go on a walk because you just get that wide field of gaze and it
Mhm.
calms down the nervous system in that sense. And then you start getting your lymphatic system moving, doing these things, doing the I can't remember what it's called, but the tapping, the
Mhm.
activation where you go through
EFT.
and doing all that. It's and doing that lymphatic drainage, doing the jumps and doing the rotations and all that stuff.
Mhm.
It's like it really helps me get back into that. But for me, I mean, it's like the first 2 hours of my day almost, I feel like, are me being like, all right, like get it together, and then I'm fine. But if I didn't have those tools, I would be like, yo, like I need to go to a doctor. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? But I'm like, no, we're humans. Like, we need to wake up and run and move our bodies and do these things. Like, and I've been in this dark studio for 48 hours and haven't eaten food. Like, it's like, dude, your body's like, what are you doing to me?
Yeah.
So there's, yeah, there's a lot of trying to take care of yourself.
Yeah. And I appreciate that honesty too, because I think so many times people are like, I have anxiety. Like, how do I fix it and rid myself of it? And I don't think that that's something that you ever like get rid of. It's just something that you, like you said, you learn to manage.
Yeah. Like, I look at my situation and it's like it's very much just on I live on the edge of uncertainty, it feels like at times, and I'm like, if I wasn't nervous, that would be weird.
Yeah.
Like, you should be anxious, dude. Like, like everything about your life like is not normal.
Yeah,
Like
that's true.
you know what I mean? It's like, and if you weren't a little anxious, that'd be fucking weird, dude.
Yeah.
Like, that's a little like crazy. Like, yeah, like I don't know how this is gonna happen next week or this, but like I say all the time, like life is stressful whether you do everything that you were told to do, or whether you choose a different path. But you just got to choose which stress that you can go to sleep with, kind of thing, because
Hmm.
you're not going to get out of it. You're going to have your shitty days. You're going to have the hard work. You're going to have all that stuff. So
Yeah.
just pick something that you can go to sleep with the struggle.
Yeah. And just like when we were talking about inspiration of like creativity and stuff, I think something that's often overlooked that people don't remember is that even just like in I think it's called like the artist way, or yeah, the artist way, she talks about like every week you should be going on like a date with yourself, like
Yeah.
go and I Rick Rubin talks about it as well, like if you want to write books, like read historical great novels, like go to view some of the most famous paintings of the world, like go to a museum, or just like interact with other people. And those experiences, when you do something a little bit different, that also fuels your creativity. Like you got a song idea just talking to your fucking mom.
Exactly. No, it's that's where I'm at right now. It's always I feel like artists are extreme. Like, the joke is like, I feel like I need to get into a relationship or something just to break up so I can write songs. And it feels like that at times, because I'll do that where I'm like, I have feel like I've talked about everything that happened this year and last year in these last couple albums, and I'm like, I literally have 30 songs coming out this year, two albums. Then I have another two albums coming out the next year after that in 2027. So I'm like, I want to write a song. I need to write a song. And it's like, you need to live life.
Yeah.
Like, you have music coming out. Like, you need to figure out, like, you have to live a life so you can write about it. So I do
Hmm.
feel like I'm in that phase, and I know that there's things that I'm gonna have to face, and things that are gonna come up that Uh, oh, hold on. Sorry,
That
my phone was just saying low,
low
low storage.
storage.
Um,
It'll be okay.
but
We're
yeah,
almost done.
there's things that I'm gonna have to face that are gonna be like, there's always gonna be more songs to write about. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And
So
sometimes that like it'll come
exactly,
and the song will come. You won't have a choice
exactly,
but to write the fucking song.
exactly. Yep, yep, yep.
So, well, this has been great. Your phone is telling us that we have to end. So, I think we covered it all. We could do a whole other podcast about philosophy and the human experience, and maybe we can sometime. But I'll put your social media links and Spotify and all that shit in the show notes. Everyone can find you and follow you, and then everyone can just stay and listen to the song that you did. Like, you probably hate that fucking song, but I love that song. You were like, you could just have that song, Kala. Like, here
Oh
you
yeah,
go.
yeah.
So, but I love that song.
I
And
love it.
yeah, so thank you so much for taking the time, and really appreciate your insights and perspective. And I'm always inspired by you. I love your music. Everyone should check it out. I always say it's really cool that like one of my favorite artists is also like one of my best friends. So
No, love you, dude.
yeah,
So happy to be here. Happy to do it again. I can't wait for the next one.
yeah.
Definitely let me know.
All right, dude. I love you.
I'll make some space on my phone.
All right, great.
I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Tell me.
It's still hazy, funk past J's, a face of blunt ashtrays and skate with punk kids. I still chase the sun, bad days, I'm lacing up half cabs and shake junk spliffs. Whatever happened to rap, it should rest in peace to Mac, and I'm here to raise it from the dead. Cause drugs ain't cool, kid, plug you with that new shit, turn water to wine and break bread. And if I said this all the future, would you trust I told the truth, or would you run away and tell my whole fan base? Cause sooner or later, kid, they'll take your human nature and they'll burn you at the stakes while the band plays. So, in the last words, better speak up now. I said, why do birds sing? What's a king without a crown? They all stood in silence while they listened to the sound of a madman reason with the demons he found. You can't lock up ideas, we don't even exist. I just live through the speakers and the beats that we kick. Is this forbidden fruit from the Garden of Eden? Is it freedom of speech, or am I speaking for freedom?